Do you think being a great father makes you more attractive or harder to date?
Damn. Hey, on me, that was a random ass question.
I know.
But I swear to God, I was not expecting that one.
Hey, this how it go down in the keepsake corner. You feel me? So, do you think being a great father makes you more attractive or harder to date?
I don't know. I think it depends on everybody's situation. Everybody's situation got to be different.
Okay.
Because me, for the most part, it's kind of easy to date me, just for the simple fact that like my son, he stay with me, and I don't have no baby mama drama. Like it's the opposite, I'm not the baby daddy that's going and try to pick up his kids, or having that issue. Like my son stay with me, so it's not an issue. Like, and I don't know, like, cause it's funny that you said that, cause I just had like a little situation with this girl on Instagram, but damn.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. First of all, welcome to the keepsake corner. Y'all already know how it is. Welcome, welcome. We got to do a keepsake toast. Get your glass.
Yeah.
Welcome. Sip, sip. I got my boy Adme in the corner. Yes, say what up to the people.
Hey, what's going on with y'all? How y'all doing?
Yes, let me tell y'all. Me
all as well.
yes, because we always got to check on the people. How y'all doing today? Welcome, welcome. And let me tell y'all, me and Adme go way back. I'm talking way, 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 way back. Oh, not middle school back. Audubon. Shout out to the Eagle. Oh, that's the bird. Wait,
Audubon Eagles.
Oh, that was a time. I mean, that was a time. I'm just gonna tell you that was a time. All right, look. So like quick story before we get back into this random question. Because look, Audubon was a time. A lot of people really. I mean, you went to Dorsey, so I know for you. I'm not sure which one was better for you. I went to Hamilton. Shout out to Hamilton. Hamilton Yankees.
Nah, I love Dorsey. I went there all 4 years.
Right. But see, I always went to Dorsey for summer school because, I mean, we all went to Audubon, right? Yeah. But, we had this little bougie 10%. Shout out to all my girls. We was like, ooh, we not going to go to Dorsey or Crenshaw, but we going to go to Hamilton. But for summer school, we back ratchet, y'all. So we always went there. But Audubon, I would say middle school for me was still way better and memorable than high school. But again, you went to Dorsey. So, I mean,
I love them schools, both of them. You feel me? I wouldn't go to any other schools. When people be asking, would you do that shit all over again? I'd be like, hell yeah. I mean, I probably, honestly, the only thing I always say is I probably would be a little bit more studious than I should, than I possibly, could have been. But other than that, I'll do that shit all over again. And like, that's it. That shit is fun.
Yes, it was fun. I would. Yeah, good times, good times. And even still the friendships, as y'all see, because I got my boy Adme in the building. Yeah. And I always love watching you and your son. So that's why I always want to bring up how it is with dating. But you raised a good point. So it's easy, but your son lives with you. So usually you would think that it's easier when you're the free bird. Like I don't have my son. I don't live with my kids. So bring all the women. Bring them all in. Yeah. So how is it when you are dating, right? Because your son lives with you and you want to have a little something, get a little date going on. So you're the one that usually have to find a babysitter, have to find the time and see all that good stuff.
Yeah, well, be honest with you, to start off with, I didn't have them till I was 29. So I enjoyed my 20s.
Okay.
While a lot of friends from high school was having their kids and started doing what they had to do as parents.
I am one.
I lived in and I enjoyed my 20s, So a lot of stuff that my friends is doing now, like, now that they kids are pretty much high school graduates, most of them, unless the ones that got like second and third kids, right? Those the ones that still got kids currently in high school. But, for the most part, like, most of them are done. And like they're enjoying, doing some of the stuff that, going out, traveling.
Right.
Doing stuff like that. and as you should, you feel me?
Yes.
So like now though, like it gets to the point like when I be on the gram and I see the homies and the homegirls, everybody partying, doing some shit outside. Like I'm inside with my son,
playing the games
like
and
and
stuff.
I've been doing it for a minute because he's 12.
Okay.
But we now just getting at that age where I know what I could leave him for a few hours, step out, go take care of something, and then come back. But I don't ever like doing it for more than a few hours. Like I know some people, you feel me, they be like, man, we used to do that, back in the days.
Yeah.
But shit, times have changed. Legally in the state of California is 14. Like for those that don't know, like
That's good, y'all. Write that down. Hold on, y'all already know y'all gotta get y'all notebooks for y'all tips. Cause write that down. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Mine 22. Yeah. And I never really, didn't know the legal age. I just knew what she wasn't gonna do.
Nah, I know my
when
mom.
I was with her,
it was me and my sister. You feel me? Like sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Being a single mom, she got to work double jobs.
Yeah.
And it used to be at times me and my little sister, and my big sister. At one point. But yeah, for the most part, it's just what you call it. Like with my son, I got a good family, help, support system. So they help me out, sometimes if I need to, or want to plan out a date, like, if I tell my mom, because like, if I ask his mom, and she ain't available, like shit, well, you gonna go sleep at my mama's house tonight, like it is what it is.
That's important too, because I had a wonderful and great support system too. And even within my relationship, when I was with her dad, it was hard dating him because he was the one that didn't want to go out on dates. Like my parents would want my kid, like, y'all don't want to go nowhere, y'all don't want to go nowhere. But that's neither here or there. It's really about the support system.
But you know what though, as a baby, when my son was young though, and me and his mom was together, we didn't use that support system like like that much. Like let's just say, for example, like my little sister, where her baby daddy, like they would ask my mom to watch my nephew. You feel me? For they could take the time to go out. You feel me? And honestly, I always felt like if it wasn't for work, or anything like that, like we shouldn't be using them. But that was just my personality,
right?
Like my responsibility. Like that's just in it. Like we created this. Nobody else should be watching him. You feel me? If like, but that's just me. Like.
No, but that's a
honestly,
interesting perspective. Like
honestly, my son, we didn't use no child care. Like for my son, he never went to child care. We just worked our schedule out.
Please, like up there, I dropped her thing off. Okay, shout out to Miss Parker. Like she was a great. Oh my gosh, I have to call. Hey, Miss Parker, how you doing, Miss Parker? She was really great, but nah, I dropped that girl off.
Nah, look, at the time when I had him, I was working at the elementary school for 6 hours as a TA. Then I ran the after school program with Beyond the Bell. And that was, so that was for 3.5 hours.
Okay.
Now, I know you're supposed to only have one job with the school district, but don't ask how I had 2 different positions.
Yeah, don't worry about my business. That's all.
So I was working like 9.5 hours a day. Okay. Like pretty much. But then, like, pretty much when his mom had to go to work, like she would just pretty much just drop him off to me, and then I end up just going home with him, and then like she'll go to work, so it would work out. So it would work out. She worked the evening shift.
Now, usually when I close my laptop, the people know that I'm going off script because now I got some questions. So this is when y'all was together, right?
Yeah, when he was still little.
Do you feel like that created a wedge in your relationship between y'all?
No, not really. I mean, if anything, it should do like a sense of teamwork, because we're working towards a bigger goal, which is our child. Like
write that down. The bigger goal.
Like, yeah, I know it might sacrifice, a little bit of time, like of us together, but that's why shit. I have vacation hours, sick hours and shit. You can plan some shit and like do something and go out. Like I know one thing. Like when I worked with LA Rec and Parks, as a city employee, like before I had a son, And they used to ask us to work holidays. I was like, hell yeah. You know, like that.
Double time.
Yeah, that
triple time.
Yeah, exactly. That part. But once I had my son, I stopped working for the 4th of July, for Memorial Days, you know, Labor Days and all that shit. You know, like, because those is now holidays that I got to spend with them. You know, that's like, I put in my holiday pay though.
Right. You still don't get it. All right. Don't ask him how he did it. Don't worry about mind your business. Okay, mind your business.
Hell yeah.
But that is I love that perspective, because, and the reason why I asked that is because most, now again, y'all know there's a percentage over here that we talk about and a percentage over here. Most would start complaining, saying that that's the issue. Oh, you know, it's all about the baby. What about me, my needs? And then the relationship just as a couple. See, people get lost in parenthood when the baby come, and then lose that couple thing. But y'all was willing to sacrifice for the what? Greater goal, bigger goal, whatever goal it was bigger than that quality time at the moment.
Yeah, and then it also depends on the couple too, because honestly, I say my son's mom, she wasn't so much of a like going out person. She was more like a homebody too. So it kind of played with the character, you know, like, you know, so everything just worked out, you know, fell into place. Like it wasn't, and you know, it wasn't really too much of an issue. And then my son, to add, you know, of it not being too much of an issue, he wasn't a crybaby.
So good babies.
You know, so where you got to be like, damn, I need some time away from this.
Right.
Kid, you know, like he wasn't doing all that. You know, like
so it was really that good old family time.
Like, I mean, it was just smooth, you know.
Smooth. Look at that.
Like, yeah.
Y'all know y'all favorite word, alignment. That y'all love to work. This is what we call alignment. You know, he was aligned when she was chill. She didn't worry about it then.
Hey, I swear it was smooth, just like how he came out.
He came out real smooth. Yeah. See? Yeah, that was a sign.
Yeah.
Some of y'all's that beginning. How long was the labor? Do you?
Man, I don't remember, but I know it started like around 9:30 when she started
contracting.
Nah, at night, you know, at night when they start ticking how much space you got, so you can go.
Oh, dilate.
Yeah.
Like it's been a minute.
And he was actually born at 8:29 in the morning on a Tuesday. Yeah, so it was crazy though, because he was a preemie though, so he had just like slid in. He my little miracle baby. Oh, my only one. So precious. Yeah, he was in the NICU for like 6 weeks too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at him now. Look at him now. Yeah. Do y'all get that he look like Bruno Mars a lot?
Nah, just not that one. Not that one.
Really? Who they say? Just I see Bruno Mars all day.
Yeah, just different people. Depending on how his hairstyle is.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Because sometimes when he grow it out, you know, he got that curly hair. You know, for y'all that don't know, my son, he mixed. You know, myself, I'm El Salvadorian. His mom is Creole. And people's from Louisiana.
Shout out to my peoples. She might be my cousin up in there. She might be my cousin, because us from Louisiana, we all connected down there some way. But yeah, his hair, that's true. It does. Little bro though.
Yeah, because then when he has like a low fade, they be thinking he Puerto Rican or something.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Good. Now what?
But yeah, like it's never really an issue with dating so much, you know, for me. Like now jumping into a serious relationship, it hasn't happened since I separated with his mom. Like we going 6, 7+ years.
Okay.
Now, you know, so it hasn't happened. I just been out on a dating scene, but it's like part of it been me. You know?
Okay, speak up. We love it in the keepsake corner when they take accountability. Y'all like that other word too.
Nah, but I'm saying like, but I'm saying like me as well, like as in not wanting to, you know, because immediately after a relationship, you shouldn't be trying to jump into another relationship. You should have that time to yourself.
Y'all write that down. Write that down in the comments. Write that down in the chat. Write it in your notebook and sip on it. Go ahead.
And then, like, at that point, like, that should never be your priority. Like, you know, especially being a single parent, it should always be your child still. I know I've heard before, with some females that like once the separation happens, sometimes, the guy, he's not even trying to be a part of the kids' lives if he can't get that. But honestly, y'all just, the kids are still there, you know.
You don't know. Quit telling my story. Tell me my story.
Nah, but it's crazy though, because I love being a dad. Like being a dad is fun. And I grew up without a dad. Like I didn't have a dad. My dad left when I was 7. So I didn't have what's the word to emulate. I didn't have a dad to emulate. So nothing to copy off of, nothing to see what dads do, nothing. I just be winging this shit, like honestly.
Listen.
And then just be like, the stuff that I like, like. So like, I've always done like I always loved sports, I always loved dressing the kid, like I'm a sneakerhead, so all the time, that shit is fun to me. I don't get how some guys that love sports and shit that got kids don't got their kids involved in something. Like, or even if your kid is like non-athletic, like go sign them up in some arts or music or some shit, like damn. Like that should be fun as a parent too, going to them events. Even though, like I was telling you earlier, like last week, it was probably like the toughest week.
Right.
But it was done.
You're right. It was done. You wouldn't have missed it for nothing. You know what I mean? Because yes, exactly. I'm always baffled when children aren't involved in anything. And I mentor the youth. I love the babies. I go to the schools for the babies, my program anywhere. But because that's their outlet, so many people are blaming the youth for being bad. These kids bad these days. They this and that. No, they just don't have the proper outlets.
Yeah, and the thing is that a child, I believe too, has to get steered in the right direction. So, usually the kids that play sports, and I talk about the kids that play sports because I coached a lot of kids. I used to work at an elementary school with Beyond Bell. I'll let y'all know real quick, where we were real good at sports at my school in particular. Like we used to go to these weekend sports tournaments that the LAUSD provides for underprivileged kids who, parents probably can't afford to have their kids playing tackle football, because that costs a lot of money in the fall, so we have a flag football tournament, that we used to provide and then, showcase at a middle school somewhere, take the elementary school kids and they'll be playing, in different regions, because of course it's like so many elementary schools in LAUSD. But these tournaments will have like, let's just say 135 schools involved. And like my elementary school where I went, where I worked at for so many years, because I had built the program, we would always be at least in the Elite 8, like every year from the top, like all the time. So, one of the first kids that I, helped coached and, I told him that he helped me build the program. His name was Devin Williams. He ended up going to USC. He transferred over to Oregon, the year that after Justin Herbert left, and then the following kid after Devin, his name was Cody Epps. He ended up going to Modern Day. And then after Modern Day, he ended up going to BYU. And he just graduated this year, And then after that, there was another kid, Matthias, Samoan kid, Malaki. He ended up going to Oregon State, But they all started, with their fundamentals, at the elementary school where I was working at, So, that's why I talk a lot about like sports. Like I love sports.
Right.
So
and it's also a sense or a style or a format of mentorship. I think too a lot of parents believe that they're the only ones that can teach their kids something, right? They're the only ones that can guide their kids. But I know again in sports, so coaches are mentors like yourself.
And I still communicate with a lot of those kids. Like, even the kids that didn't make it, like to, quote unquote make it, but are doing other things. And the other kids that, sometimes are, in bad positions, let's just say. Because I've been talking to a kid who just recently got out of jail. He was the kid that followed up after Cody. Because every year I always had the best fifth grader in sports. Like there's always that one kid that like just the best athlete and everything. Like
killing it.
so. I'm not even gonna say his last name, but Aaron. Like pretty much, he was following up next after Cody, but he got into some other things, so but he just recently got out and I recently told him like, man, you need to get yourself out of JC somewhere. You could be getting into somebody basketball team, or football team,
Yeah.
and like it's not too late, like
It's not
I
too
know
late.
you in shape. You know what I mean? Like,
I
so
know you in shape.
and see, that was my knack. You feel me? Like I had a like I can tell by a kid body structure, like what position and like a lot of stuff, like what you should be doing. Like, see, when I was playing baseball, because I'm left-handed, I used to I always say like I always played first base, right field, and pitcher. But I played a lot of first base. But until height became a requirement, because I was one of those kids that was kind of big at first, but then just eventually stopped growing.
Right.
So then my son, I knew he wasn't gonna be that tall. I'm not that tall. His mom not that tall.
Yeah.
So then he loved baseball. So that second base, I was like, man, you know what? This your natural born position. We gonna master this position. But yeah,
See,
but yeah,
sports are important. And I'm with you. I don't understand. So even for me, I have a daughter and she played basketball. That was not my thing. Okay. That was not my jam. I was a cheerleader, a dancer. I did all of that. So when she was younger, put her in cheer, dance, and she would complete it. Shout out to my daughter because my daughter would complete. She would never give up.
Shout out to her.
But then after that, she would be like, yeah, don't want to do this. What's next? I'm like, what do you mean? So she tried T-ball because my dad coached T-ball since I was a little girl. And she finished that season. She's like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I'm like, what does this girl want to do? Went to middle school, Wilders, and came home one day. Was like, oh yeah, mom, I tried out for the basketball team, and I was like, what?
Hey, that's cool. Hey, that's cool.
So I had to get into it, but I was that mom. I didn't know nothing about it. I'm like, yeah. She's like, no. I'm like, yeah. They running up and down. But I say all that to say, her dad did not come to the games from when she
Damn,
was.
that's crazy. Because I love sports, and if you watch sports, like
and he played basketball. So here's the thing about people would say DNA, genetics, whatever. It doesn't matter. Let me tell you, the parent, regardless, is going to have something of their biological parent, right?
Yeah.
Like I told y'all, your girl, cheerleader, dancer. I did tap, jazz, ballet. I'm twirling, okay? I wanted my daughter to do the same. Basketball, but then her dad played basketball.
Yeah.
But guess who was there to support her though? This cheerleader right here, which
good.
was cool. And my family and everybody.
And you know what's crazy? Like my son, he been playing baseball since he was little. Right? We started at our local rec park leagues, Rancho and Baldwin.
So my dad coached at Queen Anne.
Oh, okay. I'm like over there by LA High. But yeah, he had success, for the minor division, 9 and 10-year-olds. They won the little championship, and then at Baldwin, he got selected to do All Stars. So, I was like, oh, okay, my son kind of good, right?
Right.
And then what's crazy is that I used to see some of the kids that used to, let's just say, were like less developed than my son. Like their whole family and everybody will be out, watching their kids. Like the family support, what we're talking about.
Yes.
And then it'd be my son, he'd be the starting pitcher. Yeah. And it'd just be me. We're like there watching him. But then see, I used to tell my son, and I installed him as like no support is like all you need. You feel me? Motivation wise. Like, like we doing this is like we all we got. You feel me? And all those practices, because of course, I ain't paying for private trainers. Like, can't afford that, or, like that. Like, at least not on a consistent basis. I do, though, at times. Like, right now he was playing in the Pony League after he left, the rec park leagues. We started looking at organizations, before we jumped into travel ball, like Little League and Pony League. And I prefer Pony League because they play more by baseball rules, so if the parents that are looking into that, y'all want to see, You know, like
that whole name just always cracks me up, like the Bumblebee.
So yeah, we was playing at Cheviot Hills, and like this year, one of his baseball coaches for the Bronco division was Rigo Fernandez, and he actually played for the White Sox for 3 years, you know, until he had an injury. So you know, he be, you know, and the private sessions be like $80. So you know, that goes to show you, like, you know, when you invest in your kids, like, you know, you really risk, especially when they playing sports or doing any extracurricular activity. You know, like, it's a real investment. You know, shout out to all the parents that got their kids involved and stuff. You know, because money, you spending a lot of money. You know,
even the travel, right? My daughter loves basketball. She played in her school. She played in Wilders, and then she played at Sarah. But loved it. But the investment, like you said, and the time. Sarah plays no games. They want you to volunteer.
Yeah.
Period. I had to volunteer. Exactly. But that's also good because, like you said, the support, the fan, they make the parents. Like each child has parent volunteer hours that you
see,
have.
it depends how much too. Like the parents, like, see, fortunately for my son, he got a dad that loves sports too, and I love this shit. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was just telling her earlier before, like, not to let y'all all in my business, but I was talking to my son, and I made, like, about a few years ago, I made a financial family decision. I was working pretty much a full time and a part time job. You know, like, I worked for LAUSD full time, and then I switched to Metro full time. And all through those years, for 26 years now going, I've always kept LA Rec and Parks, you know, like part time. So, you know, because of the benefits, you know, and everything, you know. So,
the benefits. Okay.
So exactly, because, you know, so anyways, luckily for my son, like I told you guys, I enjoyed my 20s and I didn't have a kid. I also had enough time and enough sense to save up some money while I was working so much. You know,
that's a good. I just had a good thought. Go ahead.
So, like I told you, I had my son when I was 29. Right. So it got to the point when he was like 10 years old. Me and his mom, we separated and everything. I still wanted him to do all this baseball shit, you know, because I'm having fun. He having fun. He want to do all this baseball shit. And that's when I started doing the math. Like, you know what? Like, you know what? I can pretty much, you know, because me and his mom separated, and she worked for Metro too. She a bus operator. And just to let y'all know, shout out to everybody that's a bus operator for Metro. I know you guys are low manpower. You know, they got this thing on y'all union called OCB where they can actually make you come to work on one of your days off.
I heard that.
So because of that, my son's mom works 6 days a week. So I'm not throwing no shade on why she don't spend time with my son. You know, it's just sometimes, you know, that shit happens with the job. You know, and then they also got this thing where every 6 months they change their schedule. You feel me? And especially her being a female as a bus driver, and you know, you don't know what kind of transits get on the bus. They could be stalking you, following you, or whatever. So because of that, they change your route, you know, every 6 months and stuff like that.
Interesting.
So, you know, you got those are kind of the stuff you deal with, you know, with couples that work, you know, with those companies. Just like people that work, you know, with people that's in the military and traveling.
Right.
You know, or if you got a wife that's a CIA agent, you know, or a husband that's doing some other shit. You know, some stuff come with the job. But obviously,
you know, I'm sorry, it just made me a thought. And I say this often. I've always said that I never wanted to date someone in law enforcement. So law enforcement, a lawyer. I think those were the two, or like firefighters. But I guess I don't know if that's considered under law enforcement. Is a firefighter under law enforcement?
Nah, but they're still a municipal service, you know, worker, you know, like for the community.
Yeah, anything like that because of this reason, you know, on call. You just never know.
The dedication to the job.
Dedication to the job. And like even with a lawyer, like you just up late hours and all that good stuff. And I never wanted to be on a hang time, y'all. We still doing a hang time. I remember back in the day was a hang time. We got the hang time. But yeah, I never really wanted to be that wife that has to put my husband's plate in the microwave. You know, and that's what comes with it. But I never knew that about Metro.
But yeah, like Metro is one of those occupations.
No, I didn't know that about Metro. Well, I knew that their hours were
like I hate to compare it at any job to anything, but like saying this, but it's like modern day slavery, like what people like to quote on saying. Like, you know, and I hate to say that myself, you know, because nothing compares to slavery.
Right.
You know, but
mentally.
Yeah, but mentally, the way they be having you work. Yeah. And it's cool if you can, you know, getting paid $37 an hour and you don't mind being at work all day, you know, and getting that overtime.
No family.
You feel me? Like, and like I always tell people, like Metro cool if you ain't got no kids or if you got kids that can fend for themselves. But I'm at this point in my life where I want to be involved in my kids' life. Yeah. I love doing this shit. And like I told you, like, you know, like I quit that job. And like I told you, I applied for like another job with Santa Monica Malibu School District. They wanted me to work 3 to 11. Thank you, but no thank you. Like, you feel me? Like, I'm waiting till I get it. You know, people be saying, you know, you got to do what you got to do, you know, sacrifice. Well, my sacrifice ain't sacrificing my kids' time. Right. You know, my sacrifice is like, you know, pretty much waiting for that right opportunity. And see, and I know some people though, you know, ain't like me in regards to like I need a job and in regards to making income. Cause like me at the same time, you know, I'm a hustler. So I make money all kind of other ways. Right. You know, like you know, you see like on a weekly basis, you know, on my IG, I'm reselling sneakers. You feel me? Every sneaker drop that come on a calendar release date, I got private people with pre-sale orders already. You know, a handful of people who every time there's a Jordan drop, you know, Yeezys, you know, shit like that. You know, and like that's not the only thing. You know, there's other things. You know, right? But it's about being resourceful, right? And also wanting to go for it, right? And it makes me think, like, I'm wondering, and I'm gonna do some little research on this, but is it a form of laziness, right? Meaning that you were like, all right, if I'm gonna do, I gotta go get it. I gotta go get it. I gotta go do it this way to sacrifice this. I mean, but some people that just go for the money. Well, I don't want to call it lazy because again, it's the mentality. Sometimes. Yeah, it's the mentality. See, and it goes like when you grow up playing sports. You know, one thing coaches ever told me is find a way. Yes. Find a way. Yes. You feel me? So that shit is like stuck in my head. You feel me? I always say find a way. You feel me? Like figure that shit out. You feel me? You know, like there ain't no excuses. Like, and that's just, you know, and you know, different people's mentality. You know, like, and like I said, I don't sacrifice my son's time. At least not right now. Like I said. But see, everything is starting to get a little bit easier because, you know, between right now, the ages like this middle school time. The middle school time is like the hardest point. You know, and that's when I told you, like, you know, I was willing to make that financial decision and be like, man, fuck working full time. You know, I worked enough time and I got enough money saved up to where I can afford to like live off of a part-time job. Granted that like during the summer, my part-time job becomes a full-time job for those like 4.5, like 4 months. I work full-time, but other than that, you know, it ain't gonna be full-time hours. You know, but I told myself in those 3 years, I can afford to dig into a little bit of savings, you know, work part-time, and then of course like I said, besides selling the sneakers, though, I also, you know, do private security with my Samoans. Shout out to the Usos. Shout out. Shout out. I love my Samoans, you know, and then on me, yeah, man, like, I swear to God, like, I do all that shit, you know, like, trying to figure out ways, you know, like, there's all kind of ways to get money out here, you know. Like that, like also like right now by people seeing, you know, my son and some of the videos that I've posted, you know, on Instagram, like people that see me at the park, you know, they ask me, you know, if I do private, you know, training sessions. Right. And I'm like my coach's trainer that want to charge $80 an hour. But see, he was an MLB coach, you know. Of course, obviously, I didn't go to the MLB. You know, like, you know, so. Yeah, and then I'm working, you know, in my community. I'll be telling people, give me $30 an hour. Like, you know, $30, you know, half an hour. That's not even $40. Yeah, like, give me $30. Like $30, we'll work some infield. You know, 30 minutes we'll do some infield work, and 30 minutes we'll do some batting, or with whatever you want to do. You know, 1 hour we do infield, 1 hour we do, you know, follow session. You know, when I do different sessions with different people, you know, like baseball training. So, you know, it's all kind of ways, you know, to get money. You feel me out here, like without having a job, you know. Right. You know, so, you know, I figure shit out, you know, all the time. Cause
People still losing their jobs left and right, unfortunately. We gonna make it, y'all. Everybody out there, we gonna make it. But
just use your talents. Use what you got. Like me, also my part-time job consists of working for Citywide Aquatics. So I work at a swimming pool. Obviously, I learned how to swim. Like I'm certified. To know how to swim. Got my CPR standard for SA. I teach private lessons too on the side.
How is that? $30?
Yeah, like
$30.
exactly. Like I was trying to help people like in the area, like in the community. But I ain't gonna lie though, like honestly, like I be in the Cheviot Hills area because my son playing night shift, in the Pony League up there, and like also in the Palisades area. I grew up, being a dog walker up there when I was like 17. Like those college early years, I was a dog walker. I used to watch people's houses. It's different, all kind of ways for you to make different money.
It's ways, y'all.
So like,
tap into your talent.
That's why I was affected.
That is number one. Yeah. Write that down. Write that down. Tap into your talents.
Yeah, exactly. There's all kind of ways to make money. Like, earlier, and just by being a good person, like money finds you. Because I work early in the morning, right? Like at our local, Wrecking Parks, indoor year-round swimming pool facility at the Obama, sports complex, you feel me? Formerly known as Rancho Cienega Park at Celeste King III.
That's what it was back in my day. Yeah. All right, it was Rancho. Back in my day. I don't know what these new titles is going on.
We have seniors that be, coming to the pool early in the morning because we have a senior mobility class from 7 to 8. And I've built relationships with like a few of the older guys up there. Like so much that, like I got their numbers in case there's a situation that the swimming pool is going to be closed at 6 o'clock. Being at their upper age, and then a couple of them being disabled, like I will text you and let you know not to come up here at this time. You feel me? It's not required by my job or anything.
Right.
But because I've been working up there for 26 years, before we got the, new building that everybody know about now, I was always in there. I got this kind of rapport with them.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's a real nice pool. It's actually the latest pool built in the city of LA. But for real, like just some of the relationships that I built, like, I got this guy, Craig. He's a retired police officer. He had stopped coming for a couple weeks. I went to go check on his, on him,
Yes.
because he's the type of person that if he barbecue, because my mama house right down the street from his. I ain't gonna say exactly where, but we live around Tom Bradley.
Mind your business.
Around Tom Bradley Elementary, the Lamarck Park area, when he barbecues, man, he gave me a big ass like aluminum like little tray, like full of like ribs, links, chicken, all kind of shit, because it's just me and my son. He a retired LAPD officer too, shout out to LAPD. Like yeah, he cool as fuck, and we built that kind of rapport, and he recently got sick. I went to go check on him, especially because a lot of people in the community might not know some of these people that live in the Lamarck Park area, some in the Baldwin Hills area, ain't nobody checking on some of these people that, they kids. Like right now, I'm currently working with a guy, Mr. Roberts. He live, over here in the View Park area. And, his kids live in Ohio.
Oh, yes.
He's, proud from the Ohio State Buckeyes. Like he love to say the Ohio State, like he like 82 years old.
These college, they are serious about their colleges.
Yeah. Nah, and I've been working with him right now. You feel me? Right now, I've been working, rearranging, organizing some stuff in his like garage. He saw how I was working inside, the facility, and he said like, "Hey man, I just love how you so assertive." He said like, "You just take initiative, whenever anything go down, and you be like, I'll take care of it, like so I help you out, whatever you need." So. He told me like, man, I got some money for you if you want to come to my house, on a private level.
Look at that.
I'm off of Olympia, like, man, like you can slide through, and I've been helping him right now. And then I kind of helped him out on some stuff too while I was helping him out.
Right.
Because I came across some stuff that he has. And I told him, you can put this on eBay and, you can sell this stuff. you know, if you don't want to keep it, like, what is it doing right? You know, like, and he said, oh shit, hell yeah. And I showed him how much money you can get for some of the stuff.
He didn't even know.
He didn't even know. Like, and I'm like, where your kids at? You know, he had a collection of Sports Illustrated magazines, right?
Oh, I haven't heard Sports Illustrated.
And all of them got the little laminated stuff on, like the little paper shield cover on them, like to where they're protected, right?
Let me find out he got Jet magazine.
So
who got Jet?
Look, I Googled like one of them, right? And I was like, damn, first of all, the price on it say $125, right? And I was like, you know, you could get $49 for this Magic Johnson Larry Bird Sports Illustrated front cover issue, right? And he was like, what? For real? I was like, yeah. Then I was like, look at this one. I was like, I'll show you right now. But he a little bit older. He don't know. I resell. I be online, you know, and plus, like, you know, also you already know, like my big sister, she work at Nordstrom's. So sometimes, like when it comes down to designer stuff, I get like a 40% discount with her shit because she's the manager. You know, at the one, you know, I ain't gonna tell y'all what location.
Mind your business. Mind your business. Ain't for you.
Yeah, but on me, like if I get that shit for like if it costs $900, I could get it for like $600. And then like I put pretty much like, you know, $100 to it, and then I sell it to you for $700. You still win and save us $200. I'm getting $100. You know, my sister getting points. You know, like, you know, so who not winning? We all winning in this.
And you know, I think that's important because a lot of people don't see it that way. Yeah. We all winning. Why y'all be so mad all the time?
So like I said, it's all kind of ways to get money when you be hustling and like shit like that, man. Y'all can get money all kind of ways.
I need something from Nordstrom.
I'm telling you.
We gonna talk later. And we gonna be all winning.
Like,
we gonna get our points. I'm gonna get my.
You know, you saving, you know, a good $200 something, and I'm just coming up with like anywhere between $70 and $100 for being the middleman. You know, and that's it.
And I ain't mad, and he ain't mad, and ain't nobody mad but you. Why you mad?
Exactly.
Don't be mad.
So
y'all need to win.
Exactly. So it's all kind of ways to make money. Like that's why, honestly, since I quit working like full time, it's like I still don't feel the income like that. Like my son still be fresh. You see him on IG.
He do.
This baseball shit don't cost. Like this shit costs a lot of money. You know, because honestly, we went from the Rec and Park leagues where you pay $10 right now. Everybody right now, if y'all want to know, if you want to get your kids involved in LA Rec and Parks, only costs $10 because, you know, the Olympic Committee donated $420 million to the city of LA.
Shout out to the Olympic.
You know, for the Olympic Committee. You know, for the games, that's LA 28 that's coming over here, the Olympics in 2028. They're trying to get all these kids good in sports. That might be the future, you know. Michael Phelps, you know, Usain Bolt, anything, you know.
Yes.
So that's why it only costs $10 right now to do all your kids in any sports activities.
$10, y'all. 10 of them.
Exactly.
Y'all eat that. I know I eat a 10 now.
See, and then at Chevy Hills for my son to play in the spring season, I pay $400.
$400.
Exactly.
Listen, when my daughter graduated from high school from Sarah, I was happy. I was like, because that, like you said, that's sports, and then, but of course, with the schools, well, you still have to pay. It just have to be their own stuff. But with the individual, you get the fresh extra stuff
before you get to high school.
And this is who.
See, but that's the middle school part is like the toughest part where it gets real expensive because you know you got to get to a good high school, you know. But in the meantime. Like I said, after, you know, playing in the Pony League, you know, we've been playing travel ball too. You know, you got to play travel ball. And then you do other shit. You know, like, you know, right now we looking at Bosco too because we recently had the you know, I mentioned to you Sarah earlier.
Right.
But we're looking at Bosco too because they recently hosted the Team USA 12 and under showcase where you have to pay. I had to pay $150 for some kids to do some drills for 3 hours. For 3 hours, $150. Boom. So it's an investment.
It's an investment.
You know, so and then your kid get a number, and then if their number get called up, then they go and represent Team USA. You know. But anyways, but see, not all parents be knowing how to do. You got to do your homework on how to do all this kind of stuff. You feel me? And that's some of the stuff that I feel like I didn't have. Like by not having a dad, you feel me? Like I tell my son all the time, like right now at your age, you better than me. You feel me? Than what I was at your age. You know, I was playing, you know, in the Wrecking Park League, you know, and that's all, you know, that's all you think it is.
Right.
You know, before high
right.
school.
Yeah.
You know, but then, you know, it's levels to that shit, you know, especially like with travel ball and all kind of shit. Then with baseball, they got the other shit with perfect game. It's another shit where they do evaluations and you go pay more money, like to do some other shit.
It's a lot going on, child. Listen, I am.
And I know because you was talking about having a daughter to play basketball. So
yes,
you know.
That's what I'm saying. I was ready for the cheerleading. I knew what that that basketball threw me off. And she still loves that sport to this day. But I think that. So, do you think that? Okay. Oh no, because I have two questions. But I want to get this because I'm curious though, because I know. So my daughter, she loves acting. I'm more of a football girl. Baseball, I only go for the Dodger dogs and the food and the popcorn and all that.
You know, we was at the game on Tuesday.
Yeah, and I love watching it on Instagram.
Yeah, for the Mookie Betts bobblehead dog. Shout out to Mookie Betts too.
Shout out to Mookie.
You know, like I love showing him love because honestly, when you guys watch MLB baseball, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. For everybody that watches MLB baseball, and most of the time you see like most of the black players out there, a lot of them are from like Latin descent. You feel me? Like in regards to like Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, you know, and stuff like that. It's not that many African American kids that take up to the sport like that, like they do, you know, with basketball and football. Right. You know, but I'm letting parents know, like, man, you could get your kids into baseball too. So brother, you see what Otani got, you know, like
I just said I don't know nothing about baseball.
$700 million for 7 years. He is the most paid. LeBron ain't even making that right now.
So I've always heard that baseball is the highest paying sport. My brother's best friend, which is my brother, because they've been brothers since they were little kids.
Mookie Betts is one of the few African American players that's like he's up there and he good.
So it's funny you say that because Chris, shout out to my brother Chris, he played baseball because they played t-ball together. But Chris went on and he played in college and everything. But. And his cousin too. So baseball was a thing, but I always heard that they were the highest paying athletes.
Yeah,
but they're of the Latin descent as well. Like they're mixed with that. So why do you think that? Like
I mean, it just comes in the culture, you know. Like I said, like in the Dominican.
Soccer.
I mean, in certain areas, certain Latin regions, they play certain sports more than others.
And
like in certain areas, like that in particular, like in the Caribbean area, like you know, for those countries like Cuba, Puerto Rico, you know, and the Dominican Republic, they play a lot of baseball. You know, like where sometimes like. You know, them kids grow up playing baseball like that. You know, where like they don't even care about your grades. You can go to a baseball academy. You feel me? Unlike here, where you got to be eligible to play on your high school team. And that's what I be telling sometimes the people between the difference. Like, let's just say in soccer, like someone just asked me recently, like, how come the men's soccer team always suck? You feel me? Like, you know, over here for USA. And in them other countries, they do. Because in them other countries, like Brazil, them kids is playing out in the streets. You feel me? You know, and they getting that talent, you feel me, at a young age. Them African players that be playing in Africa, that get their dual citizenship, that be playing for France, that be playing for all the European other countries, you know, and even in Europe themselves. Like those guys, you know, from the Caucasian descent, they're growing up playing like in Germany. They like, honestly, they don't care about your grades. You feel me? And over here in America, unfortunately, well, you know, they care about your grades. So most of the soccer players come from preparatory high schools, you know, come from colleges, you know, like college prep stars, you know. So it's different. But see, our basketball flourishes, our basketball NBA flourishes in America because keeping it real with you, we don't get most of the talent that the scouts are looking at nowadays. They not going to high school games. They going to those AAU games. You feel me? They going to those AAU games watching Chris Paul and them play when they little. You know what I mean? Like all these kids, like man, like all these guys grew up playing AAU nowadays, you know, like so they watching most of those basketball games, and they watching actually high school city section LAUSD, you know, LAUSD games or anything like that. That's why, but see, like that's why nowadays parents discover to get their kids into private, you know, Catholic schools, you know, and city CIF schools, and stuff like that. Because, like I told you, some of the kids that I mentioned, like Cody, he grew up in the jungles, like off, you know, like off Steve Lee and Coliseum, and like he ended up going to modern day. He could have went to Dorsey. Dorsey had that, you know, historic background too for getting people into the NFL. You know, but you know what? His parents thought a better education, more, you know, exposure right now as recently, you know, and sent them there. And sure enough, he got into BYU, you know, which worked out for them. You know, and like nowadays the same thing. Like the homegirl Pooh, you know, she ended up getting, you know, Matthias to go to Oaks Christian in Thousand Oaks. You know, they live right across the street from the weight room gym. Their uncle June actually played on the championship team for Dorsey in '94, and he still went to Oaks Christian. You know what I mean?
That's that sacrifice.
Because nowadays, a lot of parents are starting to see, like, you know what, we can get your kids into these CIF schools and figured out ways how you get scholarships and stuff like that. Shit, like I'm low key trying to do, you know?
Right.
Shit, cause you know, right now my son's in the 7th grade. He go to Paul Revere Middle School. You know, honestly, those are the kids that end up going to Palisades for the most part. But some of the kids who he played baseball with, you know, which for the most part are like some of these white kids, like they gonna end up going to Harvard Westlake. Young kid is gonna go to Loyola.
I remember I visited all of those with my daughter.
Harvard Westlake, Loyola, you know, like and stuff like that. So
Crossroads.
So now I'm trying to figure out, like, you know, now that my son's in the 7th grade, that's why I had to inquire and I asked you about Sarah. You know, because Sarah High School. You feel me? Shout out to the alumni I know up there.
Yes.
You know, my homeboy son just graduated last year, you know, from over there at Kelvin Martinez.
Good school. I love Sarah. Sarah was a really good school.
Sarah's been one of those options, and then Bosco's been one of those options, you know. So now I'm trying to figure out, you know, how we gonna get up in there. You know, see my son.
Make a way.
Yeah. Make a way.
Make it happen.
You know, find a way.
Find a way.
You know?
Yes.
And see, I already told my son, like, you know, if you turn out not to be, you know, because honestly, I can only do so much. I can only do the connection part and everything like that. And I can figure out and find a way. But I can't be in the classroom with you. So you got to make sure you maintain that 3.0. You know, like at least.
Because Sarah and Bosco, whoever, will take you off.
Stop telling y'all kids a C average.
Yeah, C's get degrees.
Yeah.
Well, that's when you get to college. But
but still.
It just passing. C is passing. C is passing.
You know, a C, you know, all you got to do is just get a C. Like, you know, get a C average. Nah, don't do that, man. You know, keep a higher standard for your kid. You know, like me, I know there's some things that my son's struggling, but I'm like, man, we got to try to keep a 3.0 grade point average at this point. You know, because honestly, you know, if all fails, though, you'll get to Palisades or whatever, you know. But, you know, I told him, I'm not going to allow you to fail. Even if it turns out like you be in the 11th grade and I see that you ain't that studious child, you know, like, I'm going to go ahead and I already got a plan for you. You feel me? Like, because for people that don't know, the firefighters, LA, you know, FD, they got this thing called the Firefighters Exploration Program for kids that's 14 to 19. You feel me? So I got a kid, like my cousin's son just graduated from there. He ended up going to like Rio Hondo, and now he's a firefighter in the San Gabriel Valley. So he was actually helping out for the Pasadena, you know, fires out there. You know, so... But anyways, for the most part, you know, stuff like that don't happen every day. So having a good career in the firefighter department, man, he showed me one of his checks, man. He had $3,400 in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. $3,400.
And all you have to do, see, unfortunately for me, I didn't have a clean record. I went trying to become a firefighter too. You feel me? Like, I tried out for that shit, but when they did that lifetime background check, I didn't pass. because at 19 I already had a DUI. You know, at 20, you know, you're supposed to have zero alcohol, you know, in your limit. Like my shit was high as fuck. I don't remember what it was, but you know, you pay for those mistakes, you know, things like that. So I missed out on that opportunity.
Right.
So you know, I just told myself, as long as I keep my son in a straight line, anything like that, you know, and I see he don't become studious and this baseball shit, because you always gotta have a backup plan.
Right.
Because if I ask him right now, it ain't no backup plan for him. He's like, I'm gonna become a professional baseball player. And I see it. Like, you know, shit. Did you see on Instagram? I posted on Tuesday. He caught a foul ball at the Dodger game. Besides going on Mookie Bet, like, and I know the Dodgers got smashed that day, but that was the highlight of the night. I'm like, damn, dude. You know, like, damn, my son. I've been in over like 3 decades of going to Dodger games. I've never caught a home run, a foul ball, even the one when the players are warming up and they end up throwing it to the crowd.
Right. I don't even never get a T-shirt.
Yeah.
I be wanting a T-shirt. Now I don't get a T-shirt at all.
This little boy in his 8th game ended up catching, you know, feel me, like a foul ball. Jumped in some people's faces like boom and
get out. Like,
yeah, so I was just like, damn. But yeah, that was a happy moment for me. You feel me? I was
shout out to little Bruno.
Yeah.
I just Aiden. I probably knew that, but I just be calling him the little homie. I always call him the little homie. I'll be like, that's the little homie right there. Shout out to the little homie. I love the little people.
Yeah. Hopefully, you feel me, future high school prospect. Either we you know, aiming towards either Bosco or Sarah. You know, even though Sarah would be more convenient because it's in Gardena, and I'm actually pushing for it. You know, like it'll be a little bit more. His mama live in Gardena. Maybe she'll be more of a help. You know. And if she not, so be it. I'm gonna be going on my way, driving from Jealous to Gardena.
Find a way.
You know, find a way.
Find a way.
You know, but you do what you gotta do for your kids. But in regards to the main topic, I know we've been off topic.
We've been off topic, and it's at the end of the episode, y'all. Okay,
talking about dating,
always here.
Look, talking about dating though, it's not even that bad though. In regards to like me right now with my son, like I said, for the most part, because he stayed with me. But I haven't been in a serious relationship until like probably like recently. I kind of been dating somebody steady, but they kind of got upset. You know, I'll let you know briefly what I had mentioned at the beginning. They had got upset. You know that, you know, I had made a comment because you know my baby mama didn't end up coming for my son on Saturday night.
Okay,
and you know, the following day I was like, damn man, I guess I'm gonna have to find somebody who like don't mind playing stepmom, you feel me, or like, you know, or a female with kids, you know, so we could do some shit together, you know. But she was just like, she responded like, you know, pretty much because we are kind of dating, like, you know, she was just like, are you outside looking for somebody, you know, like, you know. And I'm like, man, I was just bullshit, you know, I just be posting dumb shit, you know, like. And then she was just like, but then she ended up saying some shit. Like, she ended up saying something about, like, yeah, because I don't know about that stepmama shit. Like, I'm not playing stepmama. But then that kind of touched the nerve, like, in a way. Because I was just thinking, like, first of all, my son don't need nobody to play stepmama. He got a mama. Like, his mama might not be there physically, but she there financially. You know, and shit. And then the shit, that's all we need, shit. You know, like,
so hold that up, because that is another topic within itself that we gotta touch on. But y'all know we here for a good time and not a long time. But y'all gonna come back. You coming back for another episode?
I'll come back for another episode.
Look, because we gonna get on this right here, because that is it. And that was actually one of my questions. But I told you sometimes I gotta go here. But it was the difference between dating a single person. Well, I'm just go with the stepmama, and then the myth thinking that anything means that you have to step in and take over.
That's exactly, real quick. That's exactly what I just meant. Like, honestly, I was like, you know what? Stepmama, my son don't need a stepmama. Honestly, that just meant, when I meant stepmama, like, that just meant sometimes if me and you go out, he might have to tag along at a restaurant, because why not? Like, if I'm taking you to Javier's, my son coming too.
Okay, because he want that.
You know, because we eating them enchiladas. Like, exactly that part.
Gotta get them enchiladas and Javier's, but y'all know what it is. We about to be out this piece in. I never really do an outro, so y'all just follow my boy and me, come back, and we out this piece.